Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Luke Schrade, proud acting principal of the Patricia A. DiChiaro School, a place that I spend just as much time as I do in my own home, a place that I love just as much as I do my own home. Welcome. Tonight, we are going to do another town hall, and I'm going to speak about consistency in scheduling for students, safety, and assessment. Please give me a moment while I share my screen. Okay. Again, this is our Patricia A. DiChiaro Town Hall. Welcome. The first thing I want to speak to our wonderful parent community about is consistency and schedule. Consistency for children creates safety. Students perform better when they know what to expect. If you are giving your child the option to come to school, that really doesn't work. That's a decision that is beyond their capability to make. We as the adults have to create the conditions that allow them to feel safe and perform to the best of their ability. We, the school, want to work with you to make sure that your child's schedule is consistent and that they know what to expect of them. As you always do, please enforce home rules and school rules during remote learning. Please work with the school to establish healthy academic and house routines. This year has been completely different than any other year. I have said on many occasions that we are leaning now on the parent community more than ever. Students spend, at least on some occasions, 3 days home and 2 days in school. And for our IEP holders, they are in school 2.5 days. That means that at least half or more than half of their time is spent at home. School starts at 8:35 and ends at 3:15. It is the expectation that school-like conditions are during those times. Please make sure your child has a place to sit, whether it be a desk or a table, just as if they were in school. Please make sure that they're at a place with minimal distractions, and please make sure that they are engaged in their learning. Now, we recognize that you cannot supervise your child all day, every day during their remote days. And if your child is in grades 2nd grade and up, we certainly don't expect you to. What we do expect you to do is please make sure that they get on to their live meetings on time so they can receive the instruction, and please make sure they're completing their work. We really count on you guys to have a strong partnership with us. We need you to communicate with the school your needs, your expectations, things that are going well, and things that aren't going so well. Let's talk a little bit about in-person versus remote instruction. The building is safe for students to be in and learn from. Is it more of a risk? Absolutely. We have built in a lot of safety measures to make sure that students remain safe. I will speak about that in a few minutes. Over the course of the year, we have seen that students perform better in school. They create deeper connections with their peers and their staff. As much as we try to keep it normal when the kids are home, there are just certain things that we cannot recreate. We cannot address children's social learning when they are at home remotely. When they are in person at school, there is less distractions and more accountability. I'm sure that your children listen to you and follow all the rules in your home, but I'm sure at times they battle you on those same rules. They behave much different when they are in school and they have to deal with me and the staff. Also, in school, there are minimal distractions versus when they're at home. For example, there are not other people working or learning in the home. They don't have access to technology that might not be school related. They are at their desk all day long with their teacher, their teaching assistant, or their aide, learning all day. We would love to have students in 5 days a week. However, we have such a large enrollment of in-person students that the building just can't accommodate. The space isn't big enough. Students have to be at desks that are 6 feet apart and have to be socially distanced at all times. That's why there is cohort A and cohort B. We have classes that range from 9 students all the way up to 15. We would love to have the students in 5 days a week, but again, the building just doesn't have the space. Will school resume full-time in the near future? I'm not sure. All I can do is be responsible, talk about safety protocols with staff and students, and just cross my fingers. Let's talk about safety for a minute. Many of our students have come back to school for the first time since March in the past few weeks, or even in this past week. If very different than last year, parents are not allowed in the building. If you are a new family or you have a child that just came back from full remote learning, you may not know what the building looks like. All students and staff wear masks at all times. All of the desks in all classrooms are 6 feet apart. There is minimal movement in the building. What that means is the only time students leave their homerooms is to go to physical education or recess. Artists push in, and 7th and 8th grade teachers push into the classes and teach their content area from student homerooms. Students receive mask breaks on an as-needed basis. I have to tell you, the students have adjusted to this way of learning much better than some of the adults have. The masks really don't seem to bother them. They have become very comfortable with asking their teachers for mask breaks. All classes take mask breaks, but it depends on the needs of the students. Every person, be it staff or a student that enter the building, must fill out a COVID form prior to entering, and that link is on the DiChiaro homepage. Also, all personnel entering the building is conducted a temperature screening to make sure they are not running a fever. We have staggered arrival and dismissal times, so there are not too many people congregating at the same place at the same time. And please, and I have to applaud you on this, you've been very responsible about this. Keep your child home if he or she is not feeling well. The staff follows the same rule. Beginning next week, we will conduct some district-wide assessments. But before we talk about those, let me talk to you about basic class assessments and asynchronous work. It is very important that students complete their own work with the least amount of help from you as possible. And what does that mean? Well, let me give you an example. If your child can tie his or her shoes, then don't tie their shoes for them. If they can zip their coat, then don't zip their coat for them. They are all big boys and girls at this point, and you should not be carrying them in and out of school or in and out of anywhere. They have their own legs and they should exercise them. It's the same thing with asynchronous work and assessments. You already went to school. We don't want to know how well you're doing with 2nd or 3rd grade work. We want to know how well your child is doing. Being that they are home sometimes 3 days a week, or for IEP holders 2.5 days a week, it is very important that the work that they return to school is their own. When students are taking assessments, we use that to drive our instruction. If a child is performing well in a particular area, then they don't need to be instructed as intensely on that area any further. The teacher will move on. Consequently, if children are not performing well in a given area, then teachers will give them targeted strategies in order to help them out in that area. If you are doing the work for them, then we don't have that information. Do not do your child's work. Beginning the week of January 25th, we are going to be conducting some district-wide assessments. They will be assessed in ELA and math. Benchmark is our district-wide reading program, and grades K through 6 will be participating in the mid-year assessment. In grades 7 and 8, they will be participating in the DataMate ELA assessment. Grades K through 8 will be assessed using DataMate in math. You will receive a schedule from your child's teacher as to when they will conduct these assessments. The children will conduct these assessments on their remote days. For example, if your child is a Group B student, then they will conduct their assessment on Monday and Tuesday when they are fully remote. If your child is a Group A student, then they will conduct their assessment on Thursday or Friday of their remote days. We have always been and continue to be a family-friendly school. Prior to COVID, we constantly have had parents in the building for a variety of reasons. School-wide events, classroom events, birthdays. We really miss seeing you guys every single day. However, it does not mean that we can't continue to celebrate our families and our students. We just have to be a little bit more creative about it. We still celebrate children's birthdays in classrooms. It's often I walk the halls and all of the classes singing happy birthday to a child. There are individual classroom celebrations or fun days that teachers conduct. There are also school-wide days that we continue to conduct on a monthly basis. However, we are not accepting any food or treats brought in from families. Can you send your own child in with their own food? Absolutely. But we are not allowing anybody to share food or any other things brought in from home. It's just too risky. Speaking about our 8th grade, we love and have gotten to know our 8th graders very well, and we will continue to celebrate them this year despite the current challenges. If you are the parent of an 8th grader, please get involved with the PTA and help out with planning some of the events that are going to happen at the end of the year. I don't know what June will bring, but the intention of the school is to celebrate our 8th graders as we have celebrated every other class of 8th graders that have moved on to high school in true DiChiaro fashion. If you are a family new to DiChiaro, or if you are a family that is interested in sending your child to DiChiaro, the first step is to register your child with the Board of Education. There is a link on the Yonkers Public Schools homepage where you can do just that. Make sure, if you are choosing DiChiaro as your first choice, that you are on time with completing the school choice application. That begins on February 13th and closes on February 22nd. The school district places the students based on the school choice application. The schools have nothing to do with child placement. Please take a moment and visit our virtual school tour that can be found on our DiChiaro homepage on the right-hand side. Being that we are a family-friendly school, please do not hesitate to email or call the school if you have any questions. It is often that I spend my days speaking to parents who have a multitude of questions, needs, concerns, or sometimes just positive comments for the staff. All of our information can be found on the Yonkers Public Schools homepage or our DiChiaro website. I just want to take a moment to thank the parent community. You guys have been unbelievable this year, supporting not only your children, but also the staff and the school as a whole. I had a visitor from the district this past week, and he asked me, what is it that I am most proud of? And I answered that without skipping a beat. I am most proud of the growth that the whole school community has made working together and making sure that it is an environment conducive for student learning. We recognize at DiChiaro that you parents have had to learn as much as we have had to learn in a short amount of time. We recognize that you're working with your children very hard and in a way that you have never had to work with them before. We recognize that every family is dealing with a variety of challenges, and it's up to you guys to communicate those challenges to us. It's up to us to accommodate those challenges and make sure that your child benefits from the conversations that we have together. I applaud you and urge you to continue working with us for the benefit of your child. And the other thing that I am most proud of is our in-person attendance. I truly applaud the trust you place in us to keep your children safe, happy, and educated. As always, we, the staff, are here for you guys. Please reach out with any questions, concerns, and of course, any positive notions that you may be feeling. Thank you. Stay safe. Stay DiChiaro strong.